Seductress, femme fatale, the exotic queen who could wrap the most powerful men in Rome around her little finger. We all know this Cleopatra. But what if I told you that entire story is a lie? A 2,000-year-old lie? What if the real Cleopatra wasn't even Egyptian? And what if her greatest weapon wasn't her looks, but her mind? For centuries, we've been fed a story cooked up by Roman propaganda and glamorized by Hollywood. Today, we're tearing that all down to find the real Cleopatra. The picture of Cleopatra we have in our heads is one of the most famous in all of history, but it's completely fake. We think of Elizabeth Taylor draped in gold, a temptress so beautiful she could topple empires. That is the version sold to us by everyone from Shakespeare to Hollywood, the foreign queen who ruled with seduction. But this wasn't some accident. It was one of the most successful smear campaigns in history. The woman we see as a supervillain was actually a brilliant leader whose real story was completely buried by her enemies. The lie became her legacy. So, let's get to the truth. First, let's drop the biggest bombshell. Cleopatra wasn't ethnically Egyptian. She was Greek. Born in 69 BCE, Cleopatra VII was from the Ptolemaic dynasty, a line of Macedonian Greek rulers. For almost 300 years, her family ruled Egypt, but kept their Greek culture and language. Most of her ancestors never even bothered to learn the language of the people they were ruling. But Cleopatra was built different. She was the first Ptolemaic ruler to become fluent in the Egyptian language. And this wasn't just for fun. It was a genius political strategy. By speaking their language, she connected with her people in a way her family never had, earning their loyalty and proving she had the right to rule. She knew that to rule Egypt, she had to be Egyptian in spirit, even if not by blood. Her legendary relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony weren't just love affairs. They were massive political and military power plays. When Cleopatra first met Caesar, she had just been kicked off her own throne. You've probably heard the story of her being smuggled to him rolled up in a carpet. But this isn't a story about seduction. This was a high-stakes gamble that put her face-to-face with the most powerful man in the world, so she could plead her case and win back her kingdom. This woman was a boss. She knew how to run an economy, build a navy, and crush rebellions. She was highly educated, spoke multiple languages, and was a master administrator who kept Egypt stable and prosperous, while Rome was tearing itself apart in civil wars. She wasn't just Mark Antony's lover. She was his main investor and strategic partner in their attempt to rule the Roman world. Cleopatra's most brilliant move was her mastery of branding. She knew power wasn't just something you have, it's something you perform. In an absolute masterclass of public relations, she identified herself with the goddess Isis, the most powerful and beloved deity in Egypt. By presenting herself as the living version of Isis, she wasn't just a queen, she was a god. This was a calculated move to cement her rule and inspire total devotion. To her Egyptian subjects, she was a divine mother protecting them. To foreign leaders, she was a sophisticated Greek monarch. This ability to show different faces to different audiences reveals an insane understanding of image and power. She wasn't just ruling a kingdom, she was building a legend. So if Cleopatra was such a brilliant political operator, why is she remembered as a seductive villain? You can thank one man for that, Octavian, her final enemy. In his war against Mark Antony, Octavian launched a nasty propaganda war. He painted Cleopatra as a corrupting foreign temptress who had enslaved Antony with witchcraft. He claimed she wanted to move the Roman capital to Alexandria, turning a civil war into a fight to save Rome from a foreign invader. It was a total lie, but it worked. By turning Cleopatra into a villain, Octavian justified his war. After he defeated them and they took their own lives, he cemented his power to become Augustus, the very first Roman emperor. His side of the story is the one that has been told for centuries, written by the victors. The real Cleopatra was a powerful and capable ruler whose sharpest weapon was her intellect. Her story was rewritten by her enemies to fit their agenda, burying the truth of a queen who, for one brief, shining moment, held the destiny of the Western world in her hands. If you want to uncover more of history's biggest lies, Make sure you subscribe and smash that notification bell. And check out our next video on another misunderstood historical figure right here. Thanks for watching.